When a billionaire family stopped the gala to humiliate a quiet black guest, the cameras caught everything. The laughter, the insults, the arrogance. They thought they were mocking a waiter who'd wandered onto their stage. What they didn't know was that the man they ridiculed owned the company funding their empire, and when he finally spoke, just 4 calm words, the entire ballroom fell silent. Investors panicked and billions began to vanish before their eyes. The ballroom shimmered under 1,000 lights as laughter echoed across crystal tables. When Jonathan Mercer stepped onto the charity stage, the crowd didn't know his name. Only his skin, that was enough. Victoria Langford, heiress of an old money dynasty, seized the microphone and pointed at him with polished contempt. "Security missed one," she announced. "How did catering staff make it past the velvet ropes?" Her voice sliced through the orchestra's fading notes. Hundreds of guests turned their heads as Jonathan stood frozen beneath the chandelier. Calm, centered, refusing to move. Cameras lit up like fireworks. "Phones captured his stillness against her arrogance, Miss Langford," he began, voice measured. But she waved a manicured hand. "Don't embarrass yourself further," she hissed. "You don't belong here." Her father, Richard Langford, the billionaire patriarch, rose from his table and climbed onto the stage. "Victoria is right," he said. "This is a donor-only event." "Let's keep it that way," the audience murmured. Some shifted uncomfortably. Others smiled. "Enjoying the spectacle, sir," Jonathan replied evenly. "There seems to be a misunderstanding." "The only misunderstanding," Richard interrupted, "is how you slipped through security from the front row." An influencer began streaming the moment live. Comments exploded. "Did she really say that? This is 2025, not 1925. The hashtag Galagate flashed across screens before the night was even half over. Security stepped forward. Their hesitation betrayed uncertainty. They'd seen this man arrive in a chauffeured car escorted by the event coordinator. Still, power had spoken. They reached for his arm. Jonathan didn't flinch. His silence unnerved them more than protest would have. "Before you escort me out," he said calmly, "I suggest you check who funded tonight's gala." His words hung in the air like a riddle. Victoria laughed, dripping mockery. "Oh, he's funding the event now. Wonderful. Maybe next he'll say he owns the hotel." The crowd erupted again, mocking, self-satisfied. Blind to the storm forming right in front of them, Richard signaled to the guards, "Get him off my stage." That's when Jonathan reached into his jacket pocket. Every movement was deliberate, slow, precise. Hundreds of eyes followed his hand as he drew out a black phone. The guards froze. The crowd hushed. He unlocked the screen, scrolled through a list of names, and pressed a contact labeled Only Protocol 7. "Thompson Capital Executive Line," a voice answered. "Activate Protocol 7 immediately," Jonathan said softly. The line went silent. Then the voice replied, "Confirmed, Mr. Mercer. Implementation begins now." The entire ballroom went still. Victoria stopped mid-laugh. Richard blinked confused, and then his phone began to buzz once, twice, then continuously. His expression drained from confidence to panic as he read the first alert. Thompson Capital withdraws from all Langford Holdings agreements. 1,8B terminated, penalty clauses triggered. Jonathan slipped his phone back into his pocket. "Now," he said, looking Richard in the eye, "we can discuss who doesn't belong here." The silence was suffocating. Camera flashes popped. Someone gasped. Another whispered, "He is Thompson Capital." Richard's hands trembled as he scrolled through incoming messages. Dozens of missed calls, urgent texts from investors, and one from his CFO, stock down 14% in after-hours trading. "Crisis meeting at 6 a.m. Jonathan turned toward the stunned audience. "For those wondering," he said, voice steady, "Thompson Capital has financed Langford Holdings for the last 3 years. Tonight's display activates our breach clause for discriminatory conduct. Effective immediately. All investments are withdrawn." Victoria stumbled back, gripping the microphone stand. "You're lying," she whispered, her arrogance collapsing into disbelief. Jonathan opened a leather folder from his inside pocket. Unfolding a signed partnership contract, Section 4.7, he read, "States that any action harming our firm's reputation authorizes immediate withdrawal." Section 4.8 adds a $340 million penalty. Gasps rippled through the room. The billionaire family who had mocked him stood cornered before 800 witnesses and thousands more watching live. "You'll destroy us," Richard muttered. Jonathan's gaze never wavered. "Not destroy, correct?" He faced the crowd again. "Tonight isn't about revenge, it's about responsibility. Every assumption, every insult, every laugh from power at the expense of dignity. This is its cost." Phones everywhere lit up as viewers shared the stream. News outlets began posting updates. And Galagate trended in 20 countries within an hour. The next morning, Langford Holdings stock opened 23% lower by nightfall. Board members were calling emergency meetings. 72 hours later, the Langford board convened in crisis. Victoria sat silent as the chairwoman read the decision, effective immediately. Victoria Langford is removed from all executive roles for conduct unbecoming of this institution. Her father lowered his head. "We accept Mr. Mercer's conditions," he said quietly. Those conditions were sweeping. Mandatory bias training for every board member and executive. A $50 million inclusion fund to support underrepresented entrepreneurs. Appointment of 3 new black directors within 60 days. Public apology broadcasts across all networks. Jonathan's calm became legend. His interview aired days later, viewed by millions. "We don't destroy systems with anger," he said. "We rewire them with intelligence." The footage from that night became case study material at Harvard and Wharton. Business leaders dissected every moment. The humiliation, the silence, the reversal. His phrase Protocol 7 entered corporate slang as shorthand for strategic retaliation through power and precision. Months later, Langford Holdings rebuilt under new principles of inclusion. Jonathan refused interviews and founded the Dignity in Business Initiative, teaching firms how to turn prejudice into policy reform. "Standing beneath the same lights that once exposed humiliation," he said quietly. "Never fight ignorance with rage. Fight it with results. One calm voice can move entire systems."